Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Paul Zeise in just a matter of moments here. We're going to be talking about the Steelers. Also, if you're watching one game right now in the ACC on Thursday Night Football, Georgia Tech is crushing Virginia Tech. So that's going to help the Pitt Panthers out, who have a game against Duke. And all of a sudden, Pitt could be in first place in the Coastal Division, Paul. And after a 3-4 start, despite an overall losing record, this team could be tied at the top of the Coastal. And this is only after, 4 games. But still, they have a shot.
If they win all 5 of their games, they win the Coastal.
Yeah.
So it's all there in front of them. I think one of the things about a 3-4 start, as we talk about all the time, is the bottom line is they play too tough of a schedule. And this year their schedule's been brutal. So 3 of their 4 losses are to teams in the top 15.
Yeah, we'll get into this a little bit later, but you and I have had a great discussion about who they should be playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so to me, if they would have beat North Carolina, that's the other thing. You beat North Carolina. Like, think about how different this season would feel if they would have beat North Carolina, who they should have. By the way, North Carolina stinks, okay?
Only win is against
And if they had played Kent State at home instead of UCF on the road. You're talking about now you're 5-2, and your 2 losses are Notre Dame and Penn State. Now it's a completely different feel to the way that the season is.
Yes.
So,
correct.
We talk about it all the time. What's the benefit Pitt has of playing some of the games that they play? There is none.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Honestly, if I was Pitt, I would never play anybody other than Penn State, West Virginia, or Notre Dame.
And even when they do play, say, an Oklahoma State, they might, the attendance is the same if they would play Kent State.
Or Youngstown State. Actually, actually probably more for Youngstown might bring more fans than Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to play those teams. Now, if you could get Michigan to come or Ohio State to come, or even, I think, in about 2 years or whatever, when they play Tennessee, I think Tennessee will bring a ton of fans. But there's only a few teams that's worth playing if you're Pitt. Every other team you should schedule a win at home. I mean, to me, Pitt fans are, we want to see the best teams. Well, guess what? When they bring the best teams in, you don't go to the games anyway. So why not schedule wins?
And you have a losing season, you don't make a bowl game.
Exactly. Yeah, why not schedule wins? I don't understand the mentality of, we want to show how tough we are. You know what? Do what Jamie Dixon and Ben Howland did. They built a winning culture by winning a zillion games against nobody. And then, after a while, they started, because they were able to build a winning culture and they were able to bring the guys in and they were able to build the program they wanted to build, then they started beating the real, the top teams. But those first couple of years, remember that schedule? They played Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and all these teams like that, right? And people complained, they got 13 non-conference games and they're 12-1 and they only played one decent team. Well, guess what? They're 12-1. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what a lot of people just look at. They look at the record.
And not just that, it's how you build a winning culture. Again, the other thing we always talk about, but Pitt has got to get to the point where they win all the games they're supposed to. When was the last season? I actually would have to rack my brains, and it's probably the Marino era. When the last time was they won every game they're supposed to win?
It wasn't Arduzzi. It wasn't Christ. It wasn't Wannstedt.
There was a couple
maybe Walt Harris. Yeah. Did they win the games they were supposed to in one of those years in the Walt Harris era?
The Fiesta Bowl year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they lost to Connecticut that year. The Fiesta Bowl year.
Yeah, I think they did.
They lost a couple of games they ain't supposed to lose.
Yeah.
2002, they lost that ridiculous Texas A&M game. The swinging gate game here.
Yeah. I remember that game.
You could.
But were they supposed to beat Texas A&M?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Those are the games you got to win. You're playing an average team at home. You got to win those games. So, to me. Honestly, not to belabor the point, but if you went through Wannstedt's first 3 years when he missed a bowl game, there's one game in each one of those years that they should have won, and if they'd have won, they'd have been in a bowl game 3 years in a row. Do you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
the one year they lost that ridiculous game to Navy. The one year they lost to
Who lost to Akron? What was the Akron loss? Who was the coach then?
No, they lost to Ohio U.
Toledo. I'm thinking about
They also
Toledo.
lost. That
Toledo.
was Walt.
That was Walt. Yep. There you go.
Dave lost to Ohio U.
Ohio U for
Yeah.
Dave. Yeah. So every year. So if you schedule things.
But you got to win those games.
You got to win those games.
But that Ohio U game was on the road, which why are you playing at Ohio U? But go ahead. Next.
You're right. All right.
I mean, no,
so before we go to the break, before they go to the break, now we got check out the Thermo Twin Windows Whippeal reports presented by PNC Bank. There's a couple big games, Paul, this weekend, but our game of the week is Penn Hills and North Hills, two of the top teams in 5A, both in the same conference. Penn Hills, I think, is set for a matchup with Gateway in the Whippeal Championships in 5A. But, you know, this is a team, this North Hills team is 5-1 in the conference. Penn Hills is 6-0. That game's at North Hills. And this is one of those teams that could potentially upset Penn Hills along the way.
Yeah, but it's not the biggest game of the week, you know.
Well, okay, there's a couple big games. This is our game of the week.
North Allegheny Pine Richland is the big game of the
North
week.
Allegheny.
Anyway, yes, North Hills, you know, the best thing that happened for them is that they dropped down to 5A. You know,
Same with Penn Hills.
You know,
yeah.
But I think actually Penn Hills probably could still compete at, you know, in certain years at 6A.
Yeah.
North Hills, this is perfect for them, but I don't think they can beat Penn Hills.
Yeah, there's a couple big games. Like you said, the North Allegheny game, also McKeesport Gateway, another huge game. All right, so a lot of good games. So hopefully you tune into KDKA-TV tomorrow night for the highlights. We're going to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.